Episode 22.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. You must be prepared to ignite.
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.
Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I'm Michael, and I'm here with my better half and wife and business partner, Teresa.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
So happy National Cat Day, people.
Yes, in case you didn't know, it is National Cat Day. And, I'm going to have to introduce you guys to my four-legged feline furry friend. Well, you'll probably see her on Periscope, and if you go looking on my site, you'll see pictures. That's at teresablaze.com. Now, that being said.
So, announcements? Not really any announcements today.
No, just,
wanted to remind you guys about the episode 21, which was about blogging, about business blogging, and remind you that we got that package there, so it'd be sbppodcast.com/21.
We're starting to get close to 30. So, all right. Today, we are talking about something that is very closely related. Very closely related, in fact. But it's a little bit different. Today, we are talking about content creation.
So,
now,
what is content creation, Teresa?
Okay, well, that it can fit in multiple arenas. I mean, it can be a blog, like we talked about last week. I mean, that's a form of content creation,
right.
Where you're writing content for your blog. But it can also take the form of video, audio, images, PowerPoint presentations.
Right.
I mean, you name it, micro content, and, that can take the form of Plurk, and Twitter, and Facebook status updates, and LinkedIn status updates, and, whatever, okay? All that is content creation.
Right. So in a nutshell, content creation is taking a piece of information and distributing that information to the masses, shall we say, to your audience.
Exactly. Okay, exactly. And I'm going to run you through one of the ways that I am creating content and one of the things that I am doing. I am not just relying on one form of content. If you follow me on Periscope, okay, you're going to see that I'm starting to do some videos. Okay, now Periscope is an interesting beast. Is it content creation? Yes, it is, especially if you can save it and record it for later. Because then your content gets redistributed and interesting things happen when content gets redistributed.
Especially current content.
Yes.
Like live streaming, like she's talking. That's what Periscope is live
oh my
streaming.
word. We are entering into a world where it's no longer just about, okay, I have a thought, I'm going to throw it out there.
Right.
I have a thought, I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to get replies in pretty much real time.
Right.
Everybody, I mean, it used to be, okay, when YouTube came out and everybody started getting on YouTube, and don't get me wrong, YouTube is huge and it's still useful.
Very useful.
Very useful, in fact. However, I think the dynamic for video has changed significantly. Can you still create recorded content and be successful at it? You better believe you can. Okay? But, for example, Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook. And I'm willing to bet this is similar on Google, although I don't have data to back this up. This is just my gut feeling, my opinion. Okay? I have absolutely no data, but knowing what I know about algorithms and how things work and what they're doing, this is just my thought, okay? I know for a fact that Facebook is giving more credence or more reach to those that are doing live video over someone who just posts a basic status update. I am also willing to bet that Facebook or YouTube is doing something very similar. Especially considering the fact that YouTube is owned by Google. Now, what does that mean for you? You know, you've got YouTube live video, you've got Facebook live video, you've got Periscope. What it means for you is if you want to be current and you want to take advantage of something and you want to do something worth putting content out for, make it live. Now, that's not the only form of content creation, and we'll cover other forms, shortly. But I am really starting to mess around with live content. And if you want to follow what I'm doing, check me out on Teresa, on Periscope, /Teresa Blaze. That's also my Twitter handle. So.
Okay, so we talked about live streaming. What other kind of content is there? We've got video, which we talked about. We've got articles, which is probably the oldest form of content.
Mm-hmm.
We've got images.
Let's throw out another one, because if you think about it, you've got apps as well.
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
Because a lot of, for example, how do I consume a lot of my content? Through the phone, through applications.
Okay, I think we're getting a little complicated here. I think
True.
It's, because we could talk about, yeah, sure, content apps are a form of content, but what's in that apps, in my mind, is the content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going for.
Right. So whatever vehicle that you've got that you're using to consume your content, that's fine. And you do need to have your content available for as many of the vehicles as you possibly can. For example, as Teresa was saying, an app. If you're doing a podcast like we're doing, then you want to make sure that your content is, one, on iTunes,
on Google Play,
on Facebook,
Stitcher,
on YouTube, on Stitcher, everywhere that audio content can be placed. Okay.
And I mean, honestly, let's face it. It really comes back to something that I heard Marilyn Mann once say a long time ago. Okay? We are living in a Web 3.0 world, which means people will not consume your content where you want them to consume it. No.
Right. They're not going to be sitting down at their computer staring at their computer screen. They might be using their tablet. They might be using their phone. They may be using a watch. It's nuts.
It is nuts, but you know what? I'm just as guilty of it as anybody, because I guarantee you, I will sit there, okay, I need to find something to tweet out to my people. Okay, you know what I do? And this is just a little bonus thing, a little aside, but this is something that anyone can do and use to promote their company. Okay? What I do, I will literally go in, because I've already got some blog feeds that are loaded up in my RSS reader of choice. I will go in, I will read the article. I may take something away from the article that I think is useful, but then I mark it as read, and then I go down to that little corner button that says share.
Okay, Teresa, I think we need to probably explain what an RSS reader is.
Okay, an RSS reader is essentially something where it will aggregate or combine all of the blogs that you follow, that you put in, that you say, yes, I want to follow this, into one application.
Okay.
And it will allow you to monitor, so you don't have to sit there and go from site to site to site to site to site. It will allow you to monitor them all in one application.
And there's a bunch of them out there.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the most popular is Feedly.
Yes. Yes, that is one. There's also Old Reader. There's also, what the heck? I'm trying to think. You know, if you just Google RSS readers, you'll find one.
Yeah. If you can't find any other, go ahead and use Feedly. Feedly is built very similar to there was one that used to be on the out there called Google Reader, and I don't know why Google stopped supporting it, because it was such a great idea.
I don't know why they did, and honestly, it sucks that they did, because I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
Okay, now,
so we've got our RSS reader. Let's keep moving on, Teresa. We can beat dead horses till we're blue in the face. All right. So
you have your RSS reader, and what you do is you go, okay, you know what, this looks like a good blog post. I'm going to go ahead and mark this as read so that it, does that. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to click share. Now you can share to Facebook, to Twitter, and to whatever other social networks you're involved in.
Okay.
The nice thing about that, it doesn't have to be your content that you are putting out.
Okay. So sharing would be a form of content.
Yes. Sharing is a form of content creation. You are just borrowing others' content.
And what you probably want to do is especially with Facebook. Twitter is a little more difficult because of the character restriction, but for Facebook, you definitely want to say something about it and not just share it as it is, as it's written.
Yeah, and Twitter allows you to do it. Like, if you can figure out 2 or 3 words that you can summarize what you think of that piece of content when you tweet.
Right.
I think, now a lot of times it really depends on if I feel something about that content one way or the other, then I will say something, but sometimes I just share it. It really depends on what I'm doing at the time.
Right.
But if you can comment on that piece of content, then you're just adding your value to it. And I mean, while that's like I said, that's a micro blogging, strategy. But the other thing that you can do when you're talking about content creation is you can take that same article, save it to, your notepad, go to your blogging platform and go, this is what they said. I either agree or disagree with it, and here is why.
Agreed. Now, so we talked about written content, we talked about video content, we talked about audio content.
Mm-hmm.
What about images? Let's talk about images.
Images are huge, okay? People, especially, there are social networks that are built up around images, such as Instagram and Pinterest, okay? People are, clicking on these things and sharing them. And the fact is, if you have an image within your posts, within your blogs, you are going to get a lot more engagement. Okay. You're going to get a lot more engagement. You're going to get a lot more, so images, infographics, presentations, stuff for people to kind of click on and read through that add value to whatever the content is that you wrote.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about those. There's so many. We could spend all day just talking about different types of content. I don't think that that's what we really need to be doing. Next, I want to talk about some other content creation methods. Mm-hmm. And in particular, one of my favorite marketers, a gentleman by the name of Ed Dale, had a method that has stuck in my head for a number of years, and I have used it successfully.
As have I.
And basically it goes like this. remember that RSS reader we were talking about?
It's crucial to it. It's crucial.
Agreed. So
it's what you do is you basically use it and you fill up on ideas.
Right. Because you the hardest thing about creating content, whether it be written, video, audio, images, whatever, is that sometimes you sit there and you stare at a blank screen and you're like, how in the world am I supposed to come up with something that's valid to my audience? And I think all marketers have this problem from time to time.
Oh yeah. Everyone does. And I mean, it's just because, honestly, because people are so short-spanned when it comes to attention. Mm-hmm. Okay? And everybody knows this, and so we're all sitting there going, well, how do I get someone's attention? Can I make my content get someone's attention? And if not, then what good is it? Why should I, how do I do that?
Right.
And it's like, especially it depends on the frequency that you intend to put out the content.
Right.
If you're going to do a piece of content every day, which is what I intend to do with Periscope, well, that takes some brain power. And it takes some thought process. Well, what am I going to cover today?
Right. You don't want to jump on Periscope with a blank head. I mean, you can occasionally, I guess, but for the most part, you want to have an idea of what you want to talk about before you pick up the mic and hit play.
Oh,
or hit record.
And you know what? I mean, and if you do a good job, they will reward you. I mean, I will be honest. I don't know as much about Periscope. I mean, I've just barely touched that one. Okay.
Right.
But what I am learning, you do a good job, and they will share it.
Agreed.
You do a good job, and they will share it. And another tip when it comes to Periscope is you need to stand out. For example, and I'm not going political, this is just an example. Had to put the caveat in place. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. You either love them or you hate them. But I guarantee you one thing, they have the subscribers.
Yep.
Why? Because people love to rail against what they hate, or they love to support what they love.
Agreed. Okay, so let's keep rolling along here, Therese.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the RSS reader to fuel up on content, and you could fuel up on content in other ways too. You can watch YouTube videos. You can stick your head on Facebook. You can go to any social media platform and come up with an idea, and then take that and use that for part of your fueling up process.
One of my favorite ones is to go to Twitter and just scan the headlines, because frankly, that's what a tweet is. It's a well-written headline.
Right. Agreed. So once you have yourself fueled up, what you want to do is sit down at your desk or computer, or I know some people prefer to, take a notepad. That's a little bit of a challenge for me because I can't read my own handwriting half the time. So what I do
notepad
is
or you can use your phone, however you want to do it.
Right. The method does not matter. It's the process.
Yep.
So what you do is open up a blank page and you set yourself a timer until you develop the discipline. Go ahead and set your timer for 5 minutes. Okay? Now, once you've got that timer set, you continue to write whatever pops in your head for that full 5 minutes.
And here's the key here. Shut down the self-critic. You're going to go, oh, that doesn't look good. I misspelled that. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, it says something. Look, expect to vomit all over the page. Okay? You're just looking to write.
Exactly.
Just write until that timer goes off. Write until you can't write anymore.
Once that timer goes off, you need to take that document, you need to save it, and you need to put it away.
But I want to edit.
No editing allowed at this stage. The whole idea of this is to come up with content. put the editor away. So what you do, once you're done with that, then you go on to whatever it is that you need to do, in your business, and the next day you open it up, and then you look over what you have. Now, a lot of it will be garbage, especially at the beginning until you train your brain to work this process. Now, I know this process works because when I was in college, I took a creative writing class, and this was the process that we went through to do creative writing.
Same here. When I was in high school, they had us doing it all the time, and and my teacher pretty much told me, you don't want to bother editing. It works. Now, I have actually written a blog post detailing this on my site, which is the actual title of it is The Dreaded First Blog Post.
So that'd be teresablaze.com, and just look for that post.
Yeah, and it will outline, and we will link it up in the show notes.
Agreed.
So
you write your content, and you save it for the next day, and then you edit it, and then instead of staring at a blank screen, you now have something to start with.
Agreed.
It gives you a starting point, and because of the fact you fueled up, and don't you dare do this until you fuel up.
No, you need ideas. You need ideas to kind of spring off of.
And even when you're writing, if you can't think of anything, write, I cannot think of anything. I don't know what to say. I wish to heck the timer would go off. Whatever you want to say it.
Just
dump your brain,
right.
And you'll be shocked.
Oh my gosh.
Especially when you look at it the second day. You will be shocked at how much clearer your thoughts are.
Yeah, and the reason why, I think, is because what happens is you're forcing your mind to dump out all the crap you've been thinking about, subconsciously or consciously.
Agreed. And, the same process applies whether you're doing a video, whether you're going to do an audio, whether you're going to do a simple article, or whatever. The process is the same. It's the creative process. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today.
And you just got a few bonus tips. So.
Yep, we vomited all over the podcast.
Well, hopefully it was useful.
I think so. Call to action. 1.
The call to action is very simple. Decide what you're going to write about. Select, find a way to monitor some posts, and fuel up.
Right.
Once you do that, then take the time to sit down and write, and that means actually setting a timer and getting it done.
And my suggestion is definitely you want to subscribe to some things that are in your niche. For example, if you're an attorney, you probably want to subscribe to some feeds that are related to law, but you might also want to subscribe to some ones that are not related to law, because that helps the creative process too.
Oh yeah.
Don't just get stuck in your niche. And Teresa and I read and listen to a lot of stuff, and it isn't all just marketing.
Oh no, I've got, granted, if you look at I've got stuff on investing, I've got stuff on, political stuff, I've got, you name it, I probably have it.
And I've got stuff on Minecraft, because that's something I enjoy playing. So, I think that's it.
You know what, I do too. With that, I'm
Michael.
Teresa.
Whoops, we stepped on each other. Let's try that again. I'm Michael.
And I'm Teresa.
Have an awesome day.
You too. Bye.
You've been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. To catch all our past shows, visit sbppodcast.com.